Hi, my name is whatelyy, and I'm here to share some very important facts. I work directly for a New York real estate company from 2023 to January 2025. And I was a partner of a Rio de Janeiro company from 2024 to May 2025. For the past year, I've been subjected to an intense intimidation and defamation campaign, which began the moment I tried to access financial documents that would expose the transnational tax and labor fraud scheme set at the end of 2023 in both the United States and Brazil, and has moved at least around $600,000 in 2024 and 2025. It was designed by my former partner and the CEO of the New York real estate company, which belongs to a very much known billionaire holding. The illegal project was presented and approved by the New York real estate company upper management. This is not an attempt to present a victim narrative. This is a structural statement of facts. Every statement is evidentially backed, and proof can be shared upon request. My email contact will be in the description. The New York company's priority is gentrification strategy. The profit from internal selling of newly acquired properties with rent roll updated to the front company property using multiple LLCs, acquiring new buildings, pulling tenant into their lease loop, and jacking the rent roll. Value is added. They resell internally with an artificially jacked up profit to the back company, which is the New York real estate company, which I work for. This company had a lot of financial issues due to multiple tenants being heavily in arrears. I have been in communication with the former tenant coalition that is fighting for legal justice. These tenants that were in arrears were undergoing multiple issues, such as flooding, leaks, mold, AC issues, heating issues, appliances, and the property management operation was mostly outsourced virtually with VAs from the Philippines that had horrible output. In 2023, I started working directly for this New York real estate company. They created a role for me called Tenant Service Coordinator. My former partner was the virtual assistant of the current leasing director, which was a personal friend of his. So he did not work directly for the New York real estate company. He worked for his personal friend, which was at the time the leasing director for this real estate company. When she got fired, he was concerned that he would not get a job because he was not working directly with the New York real estate company. He then met the CEO, who had joined not long before, and he became officially responsible for the renewals part of the leasing department. I was already tenant service coordinator, and I worked with property management. I had no contract whatsoever, and I worked as a full-time employee. I had an email a personal email with the New York real estate company's email address. I used their tools, their programs. I had access to multiple levels of information, which I'm making available to the former tenants that are seeking justice, since I know a lot of details regarding the property management operation. But moving forward, in 2023, due to the financial issues from the arrears, the New York real estate company decided to invest in us, as my former partner put it to me. Workers in office, workers that worked in the New York office of the real estate company were fired, and in their place, virtual assistants were put in their responsibility roles. My former partner became leasing director with a $9,000 monthly salary. I was promoted to team lead of Community C, responsible for over 90 buildings, and I got a $250 raise, bringing my total payment to $1,250 a month. The New York real estate company sent, at the end of 2023, money for everything needed for the Rio company to be created. During this time, there was also a company that was created under my name and my documents, which I also have all the proof of, and it was opened by the same accountant that created the Rio de Janeiro company. The rent of the Rio de Janeiro company, the taxes, the laptops, everything paid for by the New York real estate company, because they are, in actuality, the employers. And this scheme would put in place a shell company that would operate as a third-party company that outsourced the employees that were actually employed by the New York real estate company. The money was paid, and I overheard this conversation between the CEO and my former partner regarding their concern of exposing the fraudulent structure by making direct payments from the New York real estate company to the Rio company. So the solution that they found in the conversation was for my former partner to set an LLC in New York. So the New York real estate company makes one direct payment to his New York LLC, and then he reroutes the money to the Rio company, and the Rio company uses the same account that my former partner had as his personal account. That means that every payment that I got is linked to his personal account, which became the Rio company's account, and he was always controlling the money flow since the beginning. Everybody that was working for the New York real estate company was registered in New York by the real estate company in their payment flow as independent contractors outsourced by a third party company, but everybody was working as a full-time employee. And the supposed third-party company, independent third-party company, in actuality is a shell company. So that composes labor and tax fraud in the U.S. and more, probably. I'm not a professional, but the Tenant Coalition has been kind enough to link me with journalists and lawyers that will elucidate some details for me. So the Rio company began operations in 2024, January. The first two new employees immediately became partners. My former partner is American Israeli, and he would need Brazilians to legally have a company set up in Rio de Janeiro. His girlfriend was also added to the Rio company's contract with no connection with the work whatsoever, which is illegal as well. He was at the same time leasing director for the New York real estate company and the major and controlling partner of the Rio company. The employees, likewise, in the U.S., they were working as MAs, which is our version of independent contractors, but they also obviously worked in a full-time employee structure, which we call CLT. The partner payments were also fraudulent, and my bank statements prove this, because when I became partner, there was no change in my monthly payment, only in the structure under which the payment was made. And my former partner paid everybody, including himself, first minimum wage, and then the rest to simulate distribution of partner percentage. And this in order for him not to pay taxes. Now, his $9,000 monthly salary is around 45,000 reais in Brazil. So he would not pay any taxes on that. And in actuality, there was no profit being shared, and he was pocketing the money that was supposed to go for the taxes of the employees and their benefits. So not only his salary was not taxed, but all the money that the company was also making. That is also tax fraud, illegal, and a crime. There are no proper contracts with the New York real estate company. The New York real estate company is the one that hires and decides, has the last say in who's being hired or fired. In the beginning of 2025, my former partner, unilaterally terminated my business relationship with the New York real estate company and wanted to remove me from the Rio company. Because I was a partner, I have legal rights to the documents of the company, so I can analyze what I'm owed prior to signing any deals when leaving the company. The only thing that was provided to me was this paper that was signed by him and the accountant and shows 1 year of operation with a total sum of 1.8 million reais. That's around $300,000. And every month there's a different amount. And in April, he says that there was no money coming in. Let me see if I can get this straight right here. So I also, when I got this, we had a meeting March 6th, which I have it all recorded in audio. And he provided me this to say that what I was being paid was above the percentage, the partner percentage I was owed, because I only had 2%. His girlfriend had 2.5% without doing any job. Go figure. But fortunately for me, it doesn't make any sense, because I always got paid the same amount because I was a full-time employee. And I, didn't work for him. I was a partner. We had other meetings in March where he promised me access to the documents so I could analyze, his offer, which was very, very low after 3 years of no vacation and waiting to get my financial return for my time and my dedication. There were no financial results from the Rio company presented in 2024 whatsoever. No documents. All decisions are made and centralized by my former partner. When he understood that I would not be demoted from, my making use of my legal rights to access the financial documents, the intimidation campaign began. First, financial intimidation. My partner payment was cut while I was still a partner. I have not been paid for over a year. Professional intimidation. He lied to everybody within the Rio company and the New York real estate company, saying that I was a drug addict, I had gone crazy, and I had sued the Rio company. So all communication with me had to be exclusive through lawyers. That is a lie. The only motion I filed was to make use of my rights as a partner to access the docs. Social intimidation. He spread the same lies to our common friends. He lives in the same neighborhood that I do, and we know a lot of people in common, and he spread these lies to my social circle as well. The intimidation escalated to my family with him reaching out to my ex-girlfriend that lives in another state, and I've confirmed that he had communications with the mother of my son, which coincidentally filed for child support the same month I stopped being paid, which is the same month I stopped paying child support, which I've paid ever since I have been financially able to, which was when I began working with my former partner. And my bank receipts prove this. Legal intimidation. My former partner then escalated to accusing me of defamation. He went to the civil police here in Rio de Janeiro. And my former partners, which were the first lawyers, my former lawyers, which were the first lawyers I called upon to attempt to have my rights defended legally, they also accused me of defamation without me naming either party in my statements. My former lawyers have requested my preventive arrest, lying, saying that I made videos threatening them with people with guns. I went to the hearing, to the mediation hearing of the accusation of defamation by my former partner, and I had my life threatened by my former partner's lawyer in front of the mediator. The mother of my son also lied to the police with two stories that don't match, and also don't match the facts that I can prove with my bank statements, the emails, and with being part of my son's life for the past 3 years without interruption. It has been 1 year. My former partner has been the one making the decisions regarding this intimidation campaign, but he was put in this position of power by the New York real estate company, and the New York real estate company belongs to the billionaire holding, which is the final responsible for this. So I have no family contact right now. I have no friends. I have had no right to legal defense. I've been sued on multiple different angles. I have not been paid anything whatsoever. I have not had any severance pay from the New York real estate company, nor from the Rio company that I was a partner, that I was illegally removed on May 2025. My character has been attacked. My mental state, I've been accused of being an addict and of being crazy. But the truth cannot be denied, no matter how much you lie. Every evidence, everything I said, I can share proof. I would never harm myself. I love my life, and I will not give up standing for truth, and I will see this through. If you want to support the stand for truth, please share this video. If you want to support me directly, at this moment I have 0 cents to my name. I owe a lot of people. I had a lot of shame last year asking for help, but I'm not ashamed anymore. And I know that the people that should be ashamed are the people that lied and tried to destroy the life of a father and an individual that has been a very hard worker for all his life. I spent the last 18 years of my life focused on raising my older daughter. And in 2025, I finally had time to focus on myself. I believe I'm on the spectrum, same as my youngest son. I've been trying to get a diagnosis. I haven't been able to. I've lost 12 kilos these past 12 months. And I don't have any financial means to move forward. But I have no fear whatsoever, and I will not be intimidated, and I will not be bullied. I appreciate your attention. May God bless every single one of us.